Between the United States and China are heating up once again. Beijing has slapped tariffs of up to 125% on American goods, a direct hit in the ongoing trade dispute. But President Donald Trump says the US tariff strategy is doing really well. Despite market jitters, falling bond yields and a tumbling dollar, Trump remains upbeat. On his Truth Social account, he called the policy very exciting for both America and the world. Earlier this week, Trump backed off wider global tariffs, lowering them to 10% for 90 days. But China wasn't spared. In response, Beijing has struck back with even tougher levies. Still, the White House says a deal is possible. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says Trump is optimistic, but warns if China hits back, the US will hit back harder. Let's listen to what Caroline Leavitt said.
Forward, but the president has made it very clear he's open to a deal with China.
Why is he optimistic that China's going to make a deal or wants to make a deal? If they're not talking, where's that optimism come from?
He's optimistic.
Well, in response, Chinese President Xi Jinping says his country is not afraid, calling for unity with the EU against what he described as unilateral bullying. In other news, Taiwan has held its first direct tariff talks with the United States. Officials from both sides met via video to discuss trade barriers and tariffs, including a proposed 32% US duty on Taiwanese goods. Taipei is pushing for zero tariffs and deeper economic ties. More talks are expected soon. Well, joining us to discuss all of these developments is Jim Rice, a professor of international law, joining us from Vigan in the Philippines. Jim, thank you very much for being here. Donald Trump has defended his tariff action on China. Given the tit-for-tat nature of these trade-offs, what is Trump's intention?
Thanks very much for having me on, Joshua. It's good to be here. Again, it's difficult to know what Trump's actual intentions are, apart from the fact that he certainly is acting as a bully, and I think that contrary to the reports from Caroline Leavitt, the spokesman for the administration, I find it very difficult that the Chinese will be interested in making a deal at this point. When you have over 100% tariffs on each side, the US and the PRC side, it's effectively cutting off trade between those two countries, which is very, very significant. In terms of trying to just answer your question, honestly, I think that what Trump is doing is acting irrationally and erratically. And what I've said all over the time, and said here previously, business people and nations need certainty, and they need to know what's going to happen in a year's time, or at least 6 months' time, to make business decisions. And Trump has just caused so much disruption. There's no telling what is going to happen.
Yes, Jim, you mentioned there Beijing's accusations of bullying. Given the fact that so many parties have reportedly come to the table or are planning to come to the table with the United States, do you think Trump's hardline is working?
Again, when you get back to Trump's contradictory rationales for his tariff policy, in quotes, on the one hand, he believes that he has said that these tariffs are going to bring billions and billions into the country and will be able to pay for government expenses. At the same time, he says that he's using this as a ploy to do deals with countries. Well, these two things are at odds with each other. You can't have it both ways. If it's going to be temporary, it's not going to bring in the income, right? And if it's going to be long-term, there's no chance in making a quick deal.
Yes, Jim. Now, Trump has predicted stability once these deals with nations are agreed. Do you think that that is likely, given how we've seen the markets react? And also, looking at that instability in the markets, what is a direct impact on consumers across the world and in the United States?
Well, it's just introducing yet more uncertainty into the international trading system. Honestly, in a sense, you have a kind of an equivalence between, on the one hand, Xi Jinping, who for years has been isolating himself and cutting himself off from anybody who can give him contrary advice. And now with Trump 2.0, we're seeing the exact same thing. Trump has surrounded himself with yes men. And I really don't see how responsible people who actually know about international trade and the economy can help him if Trump is going to do what he wants regardless.
Yes, Jim, to bring an end to our discussion, experts have predicted a potential recession and inflation. Do you think this is likely, and what will the impact be on the global economic world?
Well, if these tariffs stay in place, there's no question but that there will be an inflationary cycle. And I believe, again, I'm not an international economist, but if you look at the overwhelming body of opinion, people are predicting a recession this year. So I believe that the evidence suggests that there will be a recession. The question is how deep and for how long this recession is going to be.
Jim Rice, as always, thank you ever so much for joining us and providing us that insight.